Hello everybody, Tommyruin here, and in this video I'm going to be going over a few tips before you head off into the Broken Isles and start your Legion adventure. And I'm going to clear a few things up people were asking about and go over what I'm going to do when I start the content. So starting off with zone choices, no zone is better than another and you're going to have to do all of them to get to level 110. And it is better that you do that now, because eventually when the flying patch is released, you're going to need the Lore Master of the Broken Isles to get your flying achievement, much like the Warlords of Draenor flying achievement. So I definitely recommend going through each zone and doing the quests. Now, one thing to note is that the profession quests do take part in specific zones, so I recommend looking up which professions you're interested in and which zones those professions start in, because you don't really want to have your heart set on starting in Val'sharah if your profession quest starts in Azuna. You might want to work that one out and set your path accordingly. I have got some leveling guides for the different zones, and those are from Wowhead, so a big props to those guys because they've got the most efficient routes for getting through the zones. So if you want to level through it quickly, you can do, but I really do recommend soaking up all of the atmosphere, all of the lore, because they are really beautiful. Each zone is so well crafted, and it really does set you on your way for leveling in Legion. Before Legion starts, I strongly recommend logging out in Dalaran because that is where the whole expansion kicks off. Logging out in anywhere else makes no sense really. You get your artifact quest line when you log in Dalaran, someone will run up to you and that's where your journey begins. So logging out in Dalaran means you jump straight into the content. Now, talking about Dalaran, it is recommended to go back every few levels to check out if there are any new quests, and you should also go to your class hall every few levels to check there are no quests there also. Progressing your class hall is really important for Legion because it means you can get to the artifact knowledge quicker and you can start progressing and getting a more powerful artifact, which is very important in Legion obviously. Talking about artifact weapons, don't be scared to get a off-spec weapon. The website AskMrRobot did some simulations for this, and they worked out that having an off-spec weapon means that you are only 1 day behind your main spec weapon if you start putting traits into your secondary weapon. So looking at their grid here, let's take week 14. If you put all your power into your main spec, you'll have 34 traits, which is all of the artifact traits. And if you go for your main spec and off spec, you put 34 traits into your main spec and 25 into your off spec, and there's only a 2-day delay. So you really can start balancing out having a main spec and an off spec, and it really doesn't limit your character that much. And what I really recommend doing is, if you can, getting a tank or a healer off spec, because the LFG Call to Arms that drop the satchels for tanks and healers mainly, although I think the LFR Hellfire Citadel has been giving DPS ones recently, the ones in Legion they do give artifact power, and this is a really good way for tanks and healers to get quick and easy artifact power, and it is a lot of it too. So if you are a tank or a healer, take advantage of this when you are leveling up other specs. Now I'm going to dive into the deep dark, which is professions, and professions have been given a massive overhaul in Legion, and there are quests relating to each profession. So what I recommend doing is looking up where your quest chain starts for your profession so you can start doing that profession in the Broken Isles as soon as possible. This expansion is going to be a profession expansion, and all of the gold is going to be coming from professions, so really do start doing your professions as soon as possible, doing all the quests and ranking up your skills as well, because that is a new system which has been introduced in Legion. You can rank up skills to make more or better armor, you can rank up your skinning skills to skin more leather, and so on. So if you rank up quick enough, you're going to be making the most gold come expansion launch. Most ranking up is done via quest chains, and gathering professions have their quest chains as well, and they are obtained by just going out into the world and actually doing the gathering. So it's recommended to go out there, do some gathering. It's worth noting that herbalism and mining nodes are personal now, so there's no fighting over those. So you need to go out and gather the items, go back to Dalaran, start your quest, and then go back out into the world and start gathering again, ranking up your skill as you go. When you get to level 2 in your gathering professions, you can start getting Blood of Sargeras, which is the main crafting reagent, much like Savage Blood and Fellblight in Warlords of Draenor, that will be used to craft the most powerful gear. So getting to level 2 as a minimum is really important. I really recommend taking advantage of professions in the first few weeks. Items are going to be selling for lots of gold, and this is the best time of the expansion to make lots of gold, so take advantage of it. Now, talking about secondary professions, they are also quite big in this expansion. For fishing, there is the fishing artifact weapon, a really cool fishing pole, and there are pets and mounts as well. Archaeology has a mount with it too, and there are also an artifact appearance which can be unlocked via doing archaeology. So whilst you're waiting for Legion to launch, I really recommend maxing that out and doing the Draenor dig sites, because that is the best way to level it up very quickly. First aid is the same old, but again, that can be quite useful when you are leveling up and you have no healing on your character. Now finally, I just have a few tips to make the launch much more smooth for you. I really recommend buying Hexweave bags, as they are still going to be the largest crafted bags in the game come Legion, and more bag space means more space for things to pick up for you to sell. On that note, I really recommend selling all of the stuff that is from Warlords of Draenor. I got this tip from Preach Gaming, so thank you to him, because I spent a few hours clearing out my banks, clearing out my bags of all the unwanted things that I don't need. When you are leveling, don't vendor crafting reagents, because people will want them to level up their crafting skills. Thank you, Old Bess, for that tip. I really recommend buying the Dalaran ring if you have the gold for it. It is 250k, and you can get it at level 101, and this is going to be a massive power boost when you are leveling. It is item level 850, which is normal level raiding gear, and when you're level 101, that's a massive power boost, and it will keep you going until you do normal raiding. And it also, as a bonus effect, has the portal to Dalaran on it, so I really recommend getting that ring when you can. Now, unfortunately, I won't be there for the initial launch. I'm going on holiday with my family, and unfortunately that falls when Legion starts, so I'm going to be behind when Legion starts. And then also, a few weeks into Legion starting, I'm going on a trip on my geology course at university, so I'm going to be at AFK for 2 weeks. So my Legion progression is going to be behind, but using this video, I'm hopefully going to make yours a lot smoother and solve a few queries which you might have about leveling in Legion. So if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. I will try and respond to them as best as I can, as quick as I can. But thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the Broken Isles.